Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about jobs that you can do as an international student. Or even if you're not an international student, perhaps you're a backpacker or you're just someone who wants to get a job here. So let's get started. Before we get into the list, I want to review some of the information that I've given you in all my other videos. Let's start with what's the minimum salary in Australia. So as of June 2022, the national minimum wage in Australia is $812 per week for full-time workers. That is, if you're working 38 hours a week. This means that you'll be earning around $21 per hour. And this salary gets updated every year. Okay, now, if you're an international student, up to 2022, you could work up to 48 hours per fortnight, that is part-time, whilst you were studying full-time. Now, because of all the current situation with the pandemic and all the skills shortages, you are able to work full-time whilst you are studying. This is a temporary measure, so it may get updated as time goes by. Who knows what's going to happen. So now, knowing all this information, let's go into our list. The first job that you could do as a student is to be an academic tutor, whether it is teaching science or mathematics, or perhaps you want to teach your language. I find that many international students or backpackers, for example, a backpacker comes from Italy, they can teach Italian as a second language here and work as freelance workers. There are so many websites where you can teach your language, so have a look around and you can charge $20 the hour or even more, depending on your skill level as a teacher. But this is an amazing way to have that little side hustle whilst you're studying. And in relation to this, you may want also to do freelance work. There are many websites such as Fiverr or Upwork where you can exchange your skills for money, basically. You may want to teach a language, or perhaps you can provide video editing services. Fiverr or Upwork are good ways to get your name out there and your services out there. Another job that you can do whilst you're studying here in Australia or you're backpacking is to be a babysitter. So babysitters basically take care of children, usually when their parents are working or in other circumstances, whatever the case is, and you can get paid between $21 the hour or $30 the hour. Everything depends, but this is another way of making some money on the side. Another cool job that you can do is to be a support worker in the healthcare sector. The healthcare sector is growing a lot and they really need support workers helping and empowering people with disabilities or people who may need your assistance on a daily basis. So that's a really cool job, and these skills are in very, very high demand here in Australia. Another job that you can do is to be a student services officer or a student body. You just need to go to your university because perhaps they have a job for you working in the student services area, and since you're a student it might be a bit easier to get in. I highly recommend checking that out and see whether you can get a gig working in that kind of position. Another amazing job that you can do, especially to develop your customer service skills and your communication skills, is that of a receptionist or working at a call center. There are so many jobs available in administration, reception, and call centers, so I highly recommend checking that out. This is an amazing side hustle for when you're studying, and it's a good way as well of getting your foot in the door, gaining some local references for when you finish your studies, you can apply for that job that you want. And of course, receptionists and sales representatives are in very high demand as well, so yeah, have a look. Another job that you can do is that of a waiter or front of house staff or a barista, also kitchen hand as well. So basically hospitality jobs. These are amazing jobs as well to gain some customer service skills, perhaps some financial knowledge or management knowledge as well. I've seen many cases where people start working as waitresses or waiters and then they get promoted to managers, and that's a really cool way of getting professional work experience. For example, if you are studying cookery, commercial cookery, perhaps you want to start working as a kitchen hand and then move up as a sous chef, and that's another amazing way of gaining relevant experience for your CV and to grow professionally. And of course, in relation to the hospitality industry, you can also work as a retail assistant, working in a shopping center or selling clothes. That that also will give you amazing customer service skills that you can transfer to future roles once you finish your studies. Another job that you can do is, for example, fitness instructor. Sometimes for these jobs, which could have an impact on the health of other people, you may need a qualification such as a Certificate 3, but in general, these are pretty cool ways and very flexible ways of getting started to work and getting professional experience and money whilst you are studying or whilst you are working here on a working holiday visa. Alright, so this is my list of all the jobs that you could do as an international student or backpacker when you're here in Australia. And another thing, please remember to volunteer. If you can't get your foot in the door in one of these jobs, perhaps you should start with volunteering. There are lots of volunteering jobs in professional environments out there here in Australia, so I highly recommend doing that so you can gain local references, and then that will allow you to move on and progress in your career. So that's what really helped me to get a professional job once I graduated, so I highly recommend doing that. It's a proven method. Always try to get those jobs that are going to get you problem-solving skills or customer service skills, sales and negotiation skills, those jobs that are going to allow you to develop your communication skills and your ability to interact with people. It's very, very important to do that. If you're a graduate, an international student or a backpacker, these are my recommendations. I have lots of content on applying for jobs and what it's like to work here in Australia, so check that out, and I'll see you next time. Bye.